Hari Om to all the divine Atma Jyotis. So from today, we'll be beginning the Bhaja Govindam contemplation. So you all have heard the background story. And also now we've been hearing to the chant by Swami Brahmanandaji. So now the first three shloka is what we have taken up for today's contemplation. So each one of you can share your views on the first three shlokas, and based on that we can go forward. So if you want, you can even chant and say the meaning, and together you can say your overall view, or you want to say it shloka by shloka, that is also fine. Who would like to begin?
Vijayji, I didn't check the last session recording yet, but I believe so going by this shloka, this was given when he saw old man reading Sanskrit grammar.
That's right. So and when asked why are you doing that, first I will learn grammar, then I will learn scriptures. So he was making learning the scripture as subsequent to learning grammar. So on seeing that, it is said that Shankaracharya ji proposed this. Yeah, that's a background story.
Yeah. So I guess if I can go, then I would say basically he's pointing to knowing what is what is the real knowledge versus going by the book, trying to understand the book. So the real knowledge, which is like in this case, I can see that he's starting with bhakti to understand, because even the reading of the book or scripture, the way I see it is like it is for the intellectual mind to try to understand what things are like. And by saying adore the Lord, it's he's going towards the surrender, the path of surrender.
Okay. Would you like to share the other two also, or you want to?
Yeah, I can go to the next one also. Want to go to the next slide? Yeah.
You mean second and third?
Yeah. The second one. Yeah. Yeah. So the way I see it, the first one was the desire for knowledge to read through the book, and here the desire of accumulation of wealth. Right? Don't go after that. Obviously, one cannot take the wealth as the body sees the end, right? So rather the message is try to know what is real, right? And thoughts about the reality, and how to stop the desire, which is basically be satisfied with what you have right now, and which is again due to the past deeds. Right? Otherwise, it's an endless cycle one will get into. That's for this, and yeah, and this one is again about don't fall into the trap of Maya. Uh, all those that attract in different forms, right? They are all appearances, but they are not real, and there is no end to the appearances. One may get attracted to one first, and then there will be a second appearance will go after that, and like there's no end to it. So basically continuation of the previous one, know that what is real, and here know that what is an appearance, what is unreal, mithya. Right? So put together all the three, it's basically the core message, going back to the core message, which is know what is real, don't go after the unreal, the appearances, and uh, and surrender to the Lord. That's how I feel.
Wonderful. Thank you. Deepaji, how would you want to share your view?
In the first one, he says, when the time for us to leave comes, all the things that we do to learn the grammar. Suppose if I think I have to learn the Bhagavad Gita shlokas first, and then no, first I have to learn Sanskrit language to understand Bhagavad Gita, then it's of no use. I'll be wasting my time. So just adore the Lord with the devotion. Adoring the Lord with devotion will save me. This is what the first shloka says. The second one, how much ever I accumulate in terms of wealth, that's not going to help me when the real time comes. Just focus on the reality and satisfy your mind with what you have achieved through the past deeds. Yeah, the second shloka says only this much. And then the third one, we get attracted to different things in the world. So you shouldn't fall prey to all such things. It is just the modification of forms, and we have to think well before we fall into such attractions. That's it, Vijay.
Is Shankaracharya ji being harsh in saying all these things?
He actually is very straightforward and calling us a fool, which is the truth, because we'll be living in that thinking. Though he sounds a little harsh, but what he says is the truth.
Wonderful.
Yeah, another way that harshness is even to the close ones, we use
Yeah.
the language in a easy way. It's right. So I think I would see it that way. That like the the tone may be uh, uh, depending on like how you see it in the other, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Out of concern, he's saying all this.
Very
Only the loved ones would do that.
excellent. Anything more you would like to add, Deepaji?
No, sir. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Hariom Rupaji, Hariom Arjunji.
Hariom, sir. Hariom, Hariom. Only thing is, I'm in metro. I'm in metro. I'll just listen, sir. That's it.
Sure, sure. No problem.
Vijay, I just remembered one thing.
Yeah.
When I joined our Atma Darshana class, at some point of time, Prabhuji was saying that to know this truth, it's not that like so there are some there are few like who will be born in a family of the practitioners who would have learned Vedas, right? And like they go through that to get the chitta shuddhi and get this and progress, right? While for the rest, it doesn't mean that like this life is gone. I have to be born again in that kind of a family to practice and then to know. While jnana is available for all and anytime for you to directly learn the truth if you have that if you are ready for that, right? So I feel like even that aligns to this that uh, don't get into the rituals saying that, oh, I have to go through that. It's nothing is rigid that way. But what is real is uh, the knowledge that you should focus and yeah. And when you're ready, then you will get the guru to tell you. Right? So
The only thing is, when we are born in such a family, it will be easy for us to
correct.
understand what is the reality and what should we go for.
Yeah, but again, you should not get stuck in the rituals and stop there. One has to go beyond the rituals to understand why they are there and towards what purpose they are taking us to. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Shilpa Kalaji, would you like to share anything?
Yes, sir. Um, with regards to shloka, first shloka, the meaning, what I understand, it says that all the intellectual knowledge cannot save a soul when the death approaches. So it is the knowledge of self-realization that is of utmost importance. And all our actions should be towards self-realization. And complete surrender to the Lord is the true worship. And so that's all. And for the second shloka, while we all need wealth to function in the materialistic world, uh, we should be content with what we get because it is based on our past karmic actions. And once the mind is cleared, like if there is no lust for objects or greed for money and possessions, and if we meditate and contemplate on our true self, uh, that is where the actual wealth is. And so for third shloka, the meaning is like the female form represents Maya. So we tend to seek fulfillment to, to escape from pain and attain happiness. It's only through our five senses that we seek fulfillment. So by using Viveka and Vairagya, we can train our mind to look inwards to seek happiness. So that's also.
Excellent. Rupaji, is there something that you would like to share about these three shlokas?
Yes, sir. In the first shloka, Shankaracharya asks us to make good use of the life we have got as humans to attain self-realization, sir.
Mhm.
And in the second one, he says people run after money and wealth. So he reminds us that he reminds us to be content with whatever we have and not run behind these temporary things. Third one, sir. In the third one, here they have he has mentioned the female form, but I think it can be any person in our lives whom we have whom we are deeply attached to. So he says it is nothing but flesh and blood, flesh and fat. So he's asking us to think or contemplate on whatever he has said again and again. That's all, sir.
Great. So one more viewpoint we can consider is, here it may seem like, he's asking us to look at Govinda and to surrender ourselves to Govinda. Another way of looking at it is Govinda, the Lord of the goes, or the Vinda, right? So who is that? That is the true self. So you are the one who is presiding over your whole mind and body. So realize that. Realize you are that light of the divine self. And this cannot be realized if your mind is focused on some other spurious knowledge. There are two kinds of knowledge we all know, apara and para. So right in the beginning, he's calling us to focus on the most important knowledge, the foundational knowledge. Know that by knowing which you can know everything that can be known. There is this very famous phrase in the Upanishadic story. Know that by knowing which you can know everything that can be known. As a simple example, when you have learnt about Sari, Gama, Pada, Ni, you in a way can compose any other ragas, any other songs when you master these 7, when you really know them. Or, to make any dish, there are only 6 basic tastes You all know that. So like that in life, in order to even in the so-called materialistic life, to create something, by knowing the basics, the fundamentals, everything else can be known. That does not mean that you know everything else that can be done with that. It only means that you know the essence of whatever. Once when you know the basic taste, you know that any food is a combination of these basic tastes. It is not that you would suddenly know, for example, rocket science just because you know the basics of physics, right? However, from that basics, from that foundation, you can now easily learn. So, therefore, in life, even in the so-called materialistic life, I have to focus on the foundation, the fundamentals. When the fundamentals are clear, then rest can be built on top of it relatively easily. And what is the fundamental of life itself? You are the fundamental. You are the foundation. You are that essence. But most often, the focus is outward, something else. Without knowing me, there's a focus on knowing something else. The knowing the knower helps me to know what I need to know easily. So, therefore, in a very, even in a very simple learning way of looking at life, Shankaracharya ji is asking us, learn the fundamental, learn the foundation of life. We have a nice word, no? Light of the self, foundation. It's such a nice, well-contained word for everything. You are the light of the self, and you are the foundation of life. So learn about you, know about you, realize about you. When you realize about you, then rest can happen easily. And what is blocking us from realizing that self? Our typical attraction in the mind towards what we call as wealth, and then recognition, and then possessions in various forms. So one by one, he wants us to question whether this is the true reality or whether this is the one which is going to give us the true happiness. Wealth, though he has not said here, he's raising the question, leave off your desire. Naturally, the question then should appear in the mind, why I should leave? So that itself will prompt you to really examine what is the nature of the wealth. The nature of the wealth is something that comes and goes. Any wealth. Sometimes it may be more, sometimes it may be less. But why is he asking us to let go of the wealth? Does he mean that, we should give away everything? Is that what he is really meaning here? So it is essentially to prompt questions. He's not giving us direct answers here. Unlike the Tattva Bodha or Aparoksha Anubhuti, where he is giving us the right knowledge, here he is raising the question so that our mind becomes ready and so that we start seeking the answer. So here he is asking us to let go our attachment to the so-called wealth. And, all of us being the students of Vedanta, then therefore, we make the leap and say that, why? Because wealth is anitya. It is not something that is permanent. It is anitya. Later in the Bhaja Govindam also, it gives that, learn the nitya anitya viveka. He prompts us. But here, he is first raising the question. And same is the case here. So apart from the so-called wealth, there's a lot of attraction to, the the animalistic tendencies are food, shelter, and sexual desire. So here he is directly saying, what are you attracted to? The so-called outer form, what is it really? Question that. There is a great Tibetan meditation technique where they through the light, you're first looking at a outside form, and then from behind the master shows the light, and then the outer form gets superimposed with what is really inside. What is really inside? It is nothing but you all have seen the biological pictures. The muscles, the bones, all these things. So what are you attracted to? What is that you are in attachment with? So again, the intention here seems to be to raise that question. See, saying, think again and again. What are you truly attracted to? Why are you in this delusion? Delusion itself means something that is not there, but my mind is constantly saying is there. So right at the very beginning, Shankaracharya ji is asking us to learn the fundamental of life. Because only by realizing the fundamental of life, the foundation of life itself, can I be free to then do whatever I need to do. If at all there is anything more that I feel I need to do that, I will be in freedom. Any questions or any more points anybody wants to bring up?
Yeah, very, very fundamental ideas, starting point of everything, I would say.
Yeah.
It cannot be below this. This is the starting point of everything.
Shankaracharya ji has a very straight approach.
Straight approach, yeah.
Cut the root, then the right things will happen. Great. If there is no more points on this particular thing, then we'll close the contemplation of these 3 shlokas.